I came in, you know, I've been in and out, so you might have said this, but when you have them do an email assignment, do you have them do it in a form of some kind, or just like, you know, make it look like the email?
No, I didn't give them a form, and I think I probably should have given them a little bit more guidance to, and that's one of the things I learned today, that it would be helpful to tell the students, just as any communication, you should have, you know, an introduction, facts, analysis, and conclusion. And the sample that I ended up using with my students did have those elements, and I realized that that's what I was looking for. But you know, it's the first time I had done this assignment, and it was a great learning experience for me.
Do they actually email it to you?
Yes,
or?
they do. Most of my assignments are posted to the course website. But this time I really wanted them to have the flavor of emailing, and I wanted to make sure that they you know, did the subject line right. They were working in email form. I did tell them that they had to compose in a word processing program, and that in general, whenever you send an email whenever you send a professional email, you should not be composing in your email program. You should be composing in some word processing or other program and paste it in, and make sure you proofread the subject line, because some spell checkers on email programs do not proofread the subject line.
How did you anonymize it when you were showing it in class?
I just took the student's name off. You know, I didn't put the student's name on. I mean, the students knew that I was going to be using their emails, but what I did was I put it into a Word document.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, I didn't.
No.
Oh,
You have to say the name of them.
I'm sorry, Judy, and I wanted to ask Brian a question about your assignment. Your presentation was fascinating to me. How much research, though, went into the background? You know, how much legal research was required, and how did you guide it to get them to the point where they were able to do the legal analysis necessary to write the letter? It's 4 pages, single space. It's a substantial letter, and I would imagine a lot of it was analytical.
Yes, actually, it's 4 pages double spaced. I don't let them turn in anything single spaced.
See it. Yeah, got it.
The older I get, the less I'm able to see it.
I agree.
No, the issue of the age 19 rule is one of the subjects that we cover during the course. So they had read a law review article on it that was in their course packet, and I believe 3 cases, and that we talked about. So they had, and then they had an opportunity to do some more research and find other cases, but at least they went into this with some preparation and some knowledge of the subject because of having read the law review article and the 3 cases and had class discussion.
Okay, thank you.
And if I could follow up. Yeah, I was just going to quickly follow up to say sometimes when we've done client advice letters, we've done something a little bit similar in that we use it to introduce a much broader area of research or a much deeper area of analysis, and they get a few quick resources to begin with, and they do the client advice letter based on those, and that helps them to start get a general familiarity with facts and law. But then they have to do additional research and add in some other things for some of the other assignments that they do.
From a practice standpoint, the form of communication as an email always brings up ethical concerns in clinics. And I'm curious if any of you address that, you know, when you're teaching anything related to email communication, whether it's to a client, to a supervisor, anything.
We generally have, I don't spend a huge amount of time on it, but we do, for example, I'll reference them to the ethical rules about confidentiality concerning client communications. We usually give them samples of some of the disclaimers that law firms use on their emails. Although I think somebody posted on the listserv, shoot, I should try to dig this up, a great article that somebody had done that basically the point of the article is a disclaimer is only words on the paper. It does not, you have to actually make sure this stuff is being kept confidential. So initially I had just shown them the disclaimers, and then when I saw that article, I now add that article in so that the students know that you're not doing everything you need to do by putting this disclaimer on the bottom of your email. But I do require them to put a disclaimer on the bottom of the emails that they send concerning client things.
And do you request that they mark it as, you know, privileged attorney work product
Yeah.
or confidential attorney?
Yeah, there's usually a line they're supposed to put in about that. But another thing I always try to do whenever we talk about ethics in my class is to say, it's not my area, I don't teach this, so my task is just to make you aware that rules about this exist and that you need to learn a lot more about them than we're going to talk about right now.
For Joan, I think the exposure idea is great on both of the exercises. The fact that the letter is ungraded, did you find that you received some shoddy submissions? And my second question is, did you still give 45 written comment feedback for those at the time when you were trying to individual conference, I assume?
No, I didn't
Okay.
give individual feedback. This was a fishbowl type exercise where, you know, the Reed Dickerson type thing, where you put it up on the screen and you comment and you elicit student comments on them. I did that with the covenant not to repeat, and I also did it with this. I showed the students 2 samples, and they were able to comment on both of them, but it's just not possible to give individual feedback. And did I get some shoddy work? You know, it's hard to tell which was shoddy because the student didn't care, and which was not so good because the student couldn't. It's the first time students doing this. I have to just tell a tiny little war story. I teach a little bit in Bosnia in the war crimes court, and my goal there is to teach common law analysis and writing. And I've been there twice, and I'm going back this summer, and I assume that they knew what a topic sentence was. You know, I assumed that people in primary school across the world have instruction in writing, and it was a false assumption. And you know, so I'm going back this year, and I'm going to do much more about just basic organization in writing, in addition to, you know, how you have a case as a source of law. You know, I see this in my own children. My son just got married and he's writing thank you notes, and we learned how to write thank you notes in school. You know, we had a class on a business letter and a social letter. I don't think my kids learn that in school, and so I think that our students, you're probably a little bit closer in age to your students than I am to mine, but our students have not had the same types of writing instruction as they have gone through school, and it's very important for me not to judge them harshly on what I get from them without really understanding what they've been exposed to.
I just wanted to add, I used to do a lot of my students write a letter that accompanies every memo they do. And it's the letter components pass-fail, and this is partially an answer to yours. And I just tell them that they'll almost certainly be submitting one or more of those letters as writing samples, because other than a few short memos that we do, I said nobody except a judge is going to read these longer memos that we do. We still have to do a few of the traditional memos. I said, so you can, submit this letter. And now I have some 2Ls come in and promote it for about 5 minutes, saying how they got jobs from it because it turned out to be true. And actually, I got the idea when they wrote me over the summer, thank you, Professor, I really hated writing this letter, and then I used it. I said, oh, really? How does that come to this? And so they come in and promote it, and I got my job that way, and then I now get a much better quality right off the bat.